Welcome to State of the Game with drynitz.
And PhotoFinish.
In this episode, we'll be talking about the Pubby mentality and the conspiracies that they have towards the game. We also have our media coordinator, Lapse, joining us for this episode. Lapse, what does the word Pubby mean to you?
Oh, Pubby can mean a lot of things, but when I think of pubbies, I think of people who are really focused on the game. They play it a lot, and then they end up being super concentrated on something. And usually that ends up being stats or some other element of the game, but it's usually some over focus or fixation on some element of the game in pub matches.
Photo, would you agree with that?
I think probably is just any random player in an online game that is basically not coordinated.
For me, a pubby has to be somebody that at least has an opinion about the game. You know, if you've made a Reddit post before because you played the game enough that you have an opinion about it, that's the basic threshold to be a pubby for me.
Alright, so I know when I play the game, I see all types of nonsense that pubbies put out in chat. Lapse, what type of conspiracies, I guess, for a better word, would you say that you see all the time for puppies?
I think the one that always tips me off the most is when somebody dies and immediately the allegation of, oh, he was hacking. And I don't know, just they don't understand that it's a server side game, and I just kind of have to laugh at that.
That's one thing as well that happens to me. And I mean, another thing is they say that you're not good, you're lucky. Now, if you're just lucky, then you have to be extremely lucky to be a good player in this game. And that's one of the mentalities. They think that good players are just lucky, and in order for you to be a good player, you just have to get a lucky streak.
Another one is just always the carry me mentality. You know, you'll see some good player, somebody will recognize a name or see some good stats, and they'll go, "Oh yeah, we got this guy on our team. We're gonna win this one." That's always gets me is that there's this conspiracy of matchmaker or something.
Yeah, I think a lot of pubs think that because you're a unicorn or you in a certain clan or stuff, it's like an automatic win. Like for example, I was platooned with someone the other day, and he- I mean his win percentage was like 50, I think 53% or something like that, and we lost like the first three matches that we played, and then we won the next three, and then we lost another one. And the guy quit the platoon because he said that I know what you're doing, and I'm not gonna play anymore. Like he was behaving like I was like purposely throwing matches in order to keep his win percentage down.
He believed that you were sabotaging your own win rate to hurt his.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of gets me to the other point that I always bring up is that there's this idea that some people are ordained or blessed by wargaming, that there's this, like, oh, this account has better RNG.
I was accused the other day of having Unicum RNG, and that's the only reason that I'm good.
You know which puppy mentality I hate as well. XVM Sniper.
I know for a fact that I get shot by Artie a lot. Like every single game, I get shot by Artie, and that's definitely due to just people with XVM and targeting the player with good stats if they have a choice of doing it. Because I'm also a player that doesn't like to sit back and do nothing. I will continually try to press the action if I can. So I'm always pretty much at least around the area where they can be or where I can be shot. But even then, I like go unlit for a minute or two, and they'll still be watching me. I don't, it's definitely a thing, but I don't know if it's as big of a thing as some people make it out to be.
Yeah, I would say I don't think it's as big as you make it out to be because I mean, that's the thing is that you're a good player because you choose to do those sort of actions, and a lot of those players that you're seeing that get ignored are the ones that are doing the wrong thing during the match. So it's not a selection thing. I don't think all the time that somebody's focusing you for your stats. I think it's kind of you're doing the right thing and therefore you're in the risky position.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being aggressive, and the other people are just being too passive. Therefore, I'm being seen the most. But I'm sure it's probably more like a 50-50 thing rather than like a 100% thing that I feel sometimes.
I would bet
Well,
that maybe 1 out of 10 of those situations, maybe 1 out of 10, you have somebody that's actually got XVM and is legitimately attempting to just damage you.
Well, I know that's not a fact, Lapse, because I've used XVM before and it tells you which people are using XVM. And you can see all the RDs that are using it, and those are the ones that are always shooting at you.
yep. Yep, exactly. XVM now tells you like who has XVM stats enabled. So if you see artillery on the other team and they have XVM stats, you can almost guarantee that you're gonna get targeted. That artillery will ignore people sitting out in the open, easy shots to try and splash you if you're like behind a rock or a building.
No, we've revealed our true nature that we do play pub matches, and this mentality is kind of a natural outcropping of the game itself.
It happens, but I think some puppies take it to the extreme.
So, drynitz, how often do you get upset about matchmaking?
Matchmaking, the only time I ever get upset about matchmaking is when like the enemy team has like 4 or plus more top tier tanks than we do. Like say it's like a tier 10 game, we'll have like 3 and they have like 8. That's just, you're not gonna win that game. There's no way. That's the only time I ever get upset about matchmaking.
I just get upset when there's too many artillery.
I always kind of enjoy the grab bag that it gives you. The things that end up making me angry at the end of the day are when I'm trying to do a mission nowadays and they don't spawn the right tanks, or they spawn just shy. You know, like I need to kill 3 already and they only give me 2, and I'm just like, ah.
Yeah, that's the conspiracy too. Matchmaker purposely puts you in games where you can't do your missions.
That's not even conspiracy. Like everybody knows if you're doing a mission, you always get the wrong map or the wrong tank line out.
It's true.
But some people still have the 260. I guess they're just lucky, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Play a ton of games. That's how they get it.
Are there any other comments at the beginning of the game that really show a conspiracy to you guys?
We already lose, so I'm just gonna suicide, or we already lost because XVM says that I only have a 30% chance, so I'm just not even gonna play this match.
Yeah, I've run into that a few times. I also had people on my team say, "Oh, we have a 95% chance to win," and they just don't do anything that whole game, because like they won already, pretty much, and then we lose the game.
I think one of the sourest notes in the game is when an artillery's left in the game and they choose to kill themselves. I always feel like that one situation where there's just already left on the map. If you kill yourself in that situation, it ought to be an extremely punishable offense.
They lose more credits than what they would if they just got killed by the other people, because it kills all your crew members or anything like that when you kill yourself, when you drown or anything like that.
I mean, when you think about it, artillery is like one of the only tank, or the only tank in the game that really shouldn't die because of their own doing. And like Wargaming needs to like punish them really, really harsh for like drowning themselves or shooting the wall beside them and killing themselves.
I don't even need like a punishment not playing, but yeah, I agree with you. Like it should be if you're the only tank left on the map, and honestly, it can be any tank. If you suicide, if you drive off a cliff and you kill all your crew, there should be 100,000 credit punishment. I mean, it should really be painful. There should be something in the game that makes it not fun for you.
100,000 seems a bit extreme, but it needs to make it so people don't do it. Like maybe it locks the tank for a certain amount of period.
Yeah,
Some
Some
punishment.
I would actually agree with the credit like 100,000 because um like people don't like losing credits in this game because it's hard to get.
100,000 seems extreme for low levels, though. So maybe you scale it. It's like 100,000 for like a tier 10 already, and then scale it down like, minus 10k per tier or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's totally doable.
Yeah.
Why do people always complain about sheriff accounts? That's something I don't understand. Like, obviously all of us have them, but I get into a game and like every single game I play, just people are like annoyed that I'm trying to give them free gold. I don't get it.
Certainly the sheriff accounts are they bring a fire to a tinderbox, and they're either really fun and people enjoy them a lot, or it turns into a huge rage fest. So when I'm playing my sheriff account, yeah, it really brings out a lot of different emotions in people, and one of them is the idea that, oh, the sheriff account, he's so good, he's going to win the game for us, or the other one on the other side is that, oh, we're all going to do something correct and win. And I seem to be about 50-50 that, they think it's going to sway the match a lot when in fact I don't feel like it does.
I mean, if you look at the long run, Overlord's played, I don't know, probably like 1,000 battles on his sheriff account already, and he has like a 65% win rate. That's what his normal win rate is, around there. So I don't think it really matters that much. I mean, it's pretty much all based on, if your team does YOLO, the enemy team, to try to kill him, if like half the time the team that the sheriff's on doesn't even help him, they just all sit around doing nothing.
It certainly inspires a lot of interesting play, especially the first time you get lit and you see some people come from the other side of the map. But I still have not experienced that it's any different win ratio than on my normal account. My normal win ratio is 62, and that's I think what my sheriff is right now. And I've had a sheriff for 5 seasons. I'm sure I've put in more than 10,000 games on that account. So
I guess another type of mentality we really haven't talked about is the W&8 farming group. The guys that sit around and all they do is solo pub. They won't play with anybody else because if they play with anybody that's good, they're gonna take damage away from them. Or they sit in the back and they don't really help the team. They just farm damage. They don't care if they win or lose. Like, what's the deal with that group?
it's a small group of people that I have to admit I've seen a couple of people turn into that person, where they were playing in platoons and then they started realizing, uh-oh, I want to maximize my win 8, therefore I should quit platooning with good players so I can farm harder. And it's just like the opposite of logic to me. It doesn't seem fun, but
Farming win 8 doesn't actually make you better at the game. Like, I have worse stats than a lot of people. Yeah, I think I play better than a lot of people with better stats than me.
Um, when you think about it, like realistically, why players usually form their double in it is it opens doors for you. Like if you played, say, 50, 60,000 battles and your doubling it is like say 1,600, but your recent is like 4K doubling it. Um, you know, people are just gonna see your overall stats. They're not gonna look at like your recent stats, like how well you've been playing. So I can understand why people like reroll our farm stats, try and get their stats up because if you want to get into a lot of the top clans and stuff like that, they have a doubling eight requirement, right? Because you doubling it basically tells people how good of a player you are. Even though I think doubling eight is a pretty crappy system that measures player skill level.
Alright, so the last topic I guess I would like to ask is Lapse. What are your Pubby attributes?
that's a good question. So I think I've played more battles than nearly anyone in Simp. So I think I've kind of got the most pubby inside of me. Um, and I would say that my pubby mentality is mostly defined in I've convinced myself to be happy when I notice the things that are unlucky for other players. So whenever I bounce a shot, I think to myself, that guy's got to be so angry. And just knowing that he's so angry kind of makes me enjoy the game. So I'm harvesting a little bit of puppy tears there to have a good time.
For me, I'm convinced. I'm absolutely convinced, and nobody's gonna change my mind about this. But I'm convinced that times five weekend is the Unicom kryptonite. Yeah, honestly, every time I play on a times five weekend, it's like the most horrible weekend ever. I cannot hit any shots, and everything pins me. I mean, I've had my 62A get pinned from the front by E75 firing AP rounds. Now, how the hell is that even possible? It shouldn't be, right? And I mean, that's my mentality. And I also uh, get targeted by artillery all the time and get pinned by T-49s whenever they fire at me.
I already touched on one of the topics that I feel is part of my Pubby mentality. Just getting focused by Artie because of stats type thing. I don't know what percentage of it is actually true, which percentage isn't. But besides that, I would say I feel I have exceptionally bad RNG when it comes to being hold down in tanks that have good turrets, or um, just bouncing random shots up at close range that should pen. Like say like the lower plate of a T62A, while you're underneath it, you bounce it. I don't know how that works. Or or turret of a Leopard 1, it shouldn't bounce either, but it happens. That type of stuff gets to me a lot, and I don't know why. Like that stuff just shouldn't happen. Or like penning through the front of your turret with, like I said, an IS-8 shouldn't happen. An IS-7.